Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Radio thought for the day. It is Sunday morning and I have a pretty stunning view this morning. I'm quite happy about that. Been hanging out for some beach time. So my thought for the day, Cindy and I woke up this morning thinking about this because Cindy and I were talking about it a couple of days ago. There's been discussion of should there be prize giving in schools, because apparently one school was on the radio or something about eliminating prize giving, and it's an interesting one to do a thought for the day about because I remember going to school and when it was prize giving, dare I say it, I used to bunk the prize giving and sneak off and would go to friends' places and watch movies or something like that. And there was a bunch of us that would always just disappear because we knew we weren't going to get a prize. And that didn't make me sad, it didn't make me upset, but I just found it interesting because one comment that was made in this interview about should schools, get rid of prize giving, the comment was made, in all reality, it's usually the same kids every year that are going up for the prizes, and that's cool. The thing is, I thought long and hard about this, and there's this thing I call in life called the pendulum effect. To give you an example, it's like freedom camping, and I'll bring that up purely because we freedom camp. It's like the old pendulum swing. It's like all of a sudden an area is completely closed off to freedom camping, and because either the locals have complained or the council deems it unsafe or something, there's some reason why an area is totally shut down, and then they realise that, well, actually, over peak seasons, freedom camping contributes up to 50% of the local economy, and so the council thinks, oh, we need to be a motorhome friendly town, and so they open it right up, and all of a sudden there's this influx of vehicles, but there's been no real thought or planning put into how this is going to work, and next minute they've got a problem because there's too many camper vans and sadly littering and things like that going on. And so what they do is the old pendulum swings back the other way again and they totally shut it down, and they never manage to find that happy place, where there's a bit of infrastructure in place, or they select areas that are not going to affect the locals, and just stuff like that. They don't think through, and it's just like, that's probably, I don't know if that's the best example, but to me it's like what I call pendulum effect in life. And it's the same with, this whole prize giving thing. It's like, there's been this big push a while ago, against that sort of competitive stuff, it's always the great sports kids that always get ahead, or, the intellectual ones at prize giving that always get the prizes. And the other kids always get pushed to the back, and it affects their self-esteem, which is true, The thing is, though, then what happens is the old pendulum effect comes into play, and suddenly everyone's a winner. You get a medal just for participating. You don't have to win. You could sort of walk the whole thing and come in completely last about 3 hours after everybody else, and still get a medal for being a winner. And again, I'm not so sure that's the best answer because, suddenly you've got these kids in life who are going to have the impression that they're going to be rewarded whether they try or not, and okay, maybe that sounds a bit harsh, you can judge me on this one, that's okay, this is really just thoughts. I thought about that and thought, kind of, to me, both extremes are not the most effective. I sort of thought about it, and I thought about goals that I've accomplished in my own life. Now, you see, I was one of those kids at school that didn't apply myself, but I was always put in the top classes because they said I had the ability to be whatever I chose in life, and that's cool. But of course I'd never apply myself. But the thing is, I found a contentment and a happiness in doing things that I enjoy. You look at my lifestyle now and, I'm pretty much choosing a life that I've always wanted to live. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it's the life I enjoy, and it's a life that my family enjoys, and it seems to be working really, really well for us. And you could say I'm not a high achiever because I'm not, apparently I have the ability to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, but I don't want to do those things. They don't appeal to me. They don't make me happy. And I'm not using this as a cop-out, but at school I was told that I'll never amount to anything. Philip, you'll never amount to anything because you don't apply yourself. And it's like, I sort of thought long and hard about that, and I thought about the prize-giving verse that everybody's a winner. And when you think about it again, there is that happy middle. There's that place where I think children need to be encouraged to set goals for themselves. Where they're achieving things that fulfill them. I think we all as parents sometimes want our kids to be, I know I've said that with parents, and I find it a little bit amusing because all we hear about is how amazing their kid is at school, or how they're almost like a prodigy because they learnt to read it too, and things like that. And I think, well, that's cool, but one thing I'm learning in life is that we kind of all have our place in a sense. And what I mean by that is I've always had a desire to help people. I've always had a desire to engage with all walks of life, and the thing with our travel life is I believe we accomplish way more in what we're doing now than I ever did in any other area of my life. I think if we can teach people to set their own goals for themselves and not be competing against others so much. I'm not saying a bit of competition is wrong or whatever, but what I'm saying is, instead of saying you've got to win, or instead of saying you're a winner anyway, how about saying what is it that you want out of life and how are you going to achieve that? And I think we need to encourage people to be contributors rather than winners all the time. I don't feel personally that I need to achieve some kind of status to say that I've made it, because I feel like I have made it. And the reason I feel like I've made it is because I've found a contentment in the life that I live. And I think different people have different giftings and different purposes in life. I really believe that. And I think instead of saying you have to be this, how about being what you want to be and finding your contentment and your place in life? Because if you think about life, if everybody was a doctor, there'd be no plumbers. And if everybody was a plumber, there'd be no lawyers. And if everyone was a lawyer, there'd be no retail salespeople. Okay, consumerism, that's another topic. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like we need people to be doing what they're designed to do, to be doing what they enjoy doing, and not feeling unworthy because they haven't reached a certain level in life, or they haven't become or reached a certain career in life, or something like that. And I think once you allow people to understand that who they are is okay, and that who they are is right for them, then we'll see a happier world, we'll see stronger communities, we'll accomplish a lot more in life, because everybody will be working together, almost in a unison. I know that sounds a bit sort of, airy-fairy, but I find when people are doing what they love and what they're passionate about, they do it well. And I think this whole thing of achievement and again, the achievements are usually things that society deems as important, and sometimes we forget in society that there's things that are way more important, like the people who are quietly in the background, helping others and feeding others and just doing odd things that are making an amazing difference in other people's lives. But in saying that, there's always that place where I think as people we need to continually challenge ourselves and to grow as people, because we're designed to learn continuously, we're designed to grow, we're designed to better ourselves, and in that find our own self-esteem and our own fulfillment and our own satisfaction, rather than competing against others. Because I find if you start competing against others, something changes and you lose that happiness. You don't have the same kind of happiness. You might win for a moment and have some sense of reward in that, but that won't last until you find your next competition. And so I guess my encouragement is find your place in life, find your happiness, find your happy place in life. What is it that excites you? It doesn't have to be saving the world. It doesn't have to be reaching millions of people. It can simply be staying at home and ensuring that your children have the best education. So yeah, just get out and live life, and whatever that means to you. I sometimes laugh at these, I don't want to be a hype motivational speaker. You can do it, you can be great, I'm just saying, be real, enjoy life, but find what it is that your place is in life. And because when you find that place, then you'll find absolute satisfaction. Not to say things won't go wrong. I know that things go wrong. But even when things go wrong, it will enable you to find a way through. So be encouraged. Have a great day. Hope that makes some kind of sense.